Bonjour and welcome back to Frenchified with the French dude. Unlocking fluency with Coach Sam. Have you ever heard French sentence like quand j'étais petit, when I was little, or something like je regardais la télévision, I was watching television. All these sentences use a very important French past tense called imparfait. In this lesson, I'll show you when to use the imparfait and how to form it. Let's get started. Allons-y. What is the imparfait? Imparfait is a French past tense. We mainly use it to talk about habits in the past, repeated action, description in the past, ongoing situation or action, feelings, thoughts, and states in the past. Think of it as setting the background of a story. For example, quand j'étais jeune, je jouais au football tous les jours. Quand j'étais jeune, je jouais au football tous les jours. When I was young, I used to play football every day. Here, j'étais describe a situation in the past, and je jouais describe a repeated habit. When do we use the imparfait? Like I stated earlier, we use the imparfait for habit and repeated action. If you did something regularly in the past, French often uses the imparfait. For example, quand j'étais enfant, je regardais des dessins animés tous les matins. When I was a child, I used to watch cartoon every morning. Chaque dimanche, nous allions chez ma grand-mère. Every Sunday, we used to go to my grandmother's house. Here are some expressions that triggers the imparfait. Toujours, always. Souvent, which means often. Chaque jour, which means every day. Tous les jours, every day. Le dimanche, on Sundays. D'habitude, usually. This often suggests a repeated action in the past. For description in the past, use imparfait when describing what things were like. For example, la maison était grande. The house was big. Il faisait beau. The weather was nice. Le ciel était bleu et les enfants jouaient dans le jardin. The sky was blue and the children were playing in the garden. What did you notice? Notice that we are creating the scene or the background. Also, imparfait is used for ongoing action. Imparfait can show that an action was already happening in the past. For example, je dormais quand tu as appelé. I was sleeping when you called. The action je dormais was still ongoing. It was an ongoing action. Then tu as appelé happened and interrupted the first action. And now, this is one of the easiest way to understand the differences between imparfait and the passé composé. Imparfait, the action is in progress. Passé composé, a completed action or a completed event. Je regardais la télévision quand mon ami est arrivé. I was watching TV when my friend arrived. So now let's learn how to form imparfait. Now the good news is forming imparfait is quite simple. It just needs 3 steps. Step 1, take the new form of the verb in the present form. Step 2, remove the ONS. And step 3, we add our imparfait ending, that's la terminaison. Then, what are our endings? What are our terminaisons? Our endings are, for je, you add AIS. For tu, you add AIS. For il, elle, on, we add AIT. For nous, we add IONS. For vous, we add IEZ. And for il, elle, we add AIENT. And it's going to give us our imperfect conjugation. Now, let's use parler. Now, for instance, take parler in the present form. It gives us nous parlons. Then remove the ONS. Then parle, P-A-R-L-E. RL is our stem. Then we're going to be adding our stem. It becomes je parlais, which means I was speaking or I used to speak. Tu parlais, you were speaking or you used to speak. Il parlait, he was speaking or he used to speak. Elle parlait, and continuous like nous parlions, vous parliez, il parlait, elle parlait. So anytime you say a sentence in imparfait, it means two things. It means I was or I used to. Now, another example with the verb finir. Finir in the present form with nous is nous finissons. Now, remove the ONS, we have finis, that's F-I-N-I-S-S. Now, adding our ending, it becomes je finissais, tu finissais, il finissait, elle finissait, nous finissions, vous finissiez, il finissait, elle finissait. And taking pronoun again. So take pronoun. Now, conjugate the nous pronoun. Remove the ONS. Our stem is pren. Then you add our endings, and it gives us je prenais, tu prenais, il prenait, nous prenions, vous preniez, il prenait, elle prenait. So remember how to conjugate it. First, you take the new form, then you remove the ONS, and lastly, you add your imparfait endings. Now, here are some important exceptions. Now, when you want to conjugate for être, this is one major irregular verb you need to remember. Être doesn't use the new form. Instead of using new form, the imparfait stem is just E and T, E with an acute accent with T. So after the E and the acute accent, you add our endings. So it gives us j'étais, tu étais, il était, elle était, nous étions, vous étiez, ils étaient, elles étaient. And examples you can see it in j'étais fatigué. I was tired. Nous étions à Paris. We were in Paris. Now, let's take a simple story using the imparfait. Hier soir, il pleuvait. Je regardais un film dans ma chambre. Tout était calme. Soudain, mon téléphone a sonné. And in English, it means yesterday evening, it was raining. I was watching a movie in my room. Everything was quiet. Then suddenly, my phone rang. Now, notice some expression. We say il pleuvait. It's describing the background. Je regardais. Ongoing action. Tout était calme. A description. Then we have mon téléphone a sonné. A specific completed action. If you found this lesson helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Frenchified with a French dude, and turn on your notification for more simple French lessons. Petit à petit, l'oiseau fait son nid. See you in the next lesson. Merci et au revoir.